So I'm again this here. I'm gonna read this because I hadn't read it, but I'm gonna read it and then we'll get into it. It says you should go read it. Here's paragraph 5 from the lawsuit. This is Gabby Petito's. The mother and father are suing the Modad. I think it's Modad or whatever police department, whatever the name of the police department is. They're trying to sue the police department. So let's read this. The police investigation was deeply flawed. Despite the witnesses' reports, the officer treated Brian as if he were the victim of domestic abuse rather than the predator. In fact, the officer never directly questioned Brian about whether he hit Gabby or how she ended up with the scratches on her face. They failed to recognize or otherwise identify the obvious signs clearly indicated that Gabby was the victim of domestic abuse, including her assault responsibility for the fight with Brian, even though she described Brian grabbing her face so violently that he scratched her cheek and drew blood. The officers uh, misinterpreted Gabby's extreme emotional distress, seeing it as a cause of the domestic violence rather than its result. Officer Pat, in particular, was fundamentally biased in the approach to the investigation, choosing to believe Gabby's abusers, ignoring evidence that Gabby was the victim, and intentionally looking for loopholes to get around the requirements of Utah law and his duties to protect Gabby. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to piss people off. I am not a fan of Brian, before I say what I'm about to say. I'm not a fan of Brian. Brian is a worthless piece of crap, and he took the coward's way out, and yeah, 1,000%. He took the coward's way out. With that being said, though, Gabby told these cops she started this fight that day. She started it. Not Brian. She did. So, whether you like it or not, Gabby would have been the one going to jail for this if they pressed it. Because she told them that she started the fight that day. So these cops didn't do anything wrong except not arrest both. They should have arrested. They should have took them both to jail for violence. And I also feel that Gabby was a victim of Brian's. Like, I think he probably did some shit to her, and he was mean to her all the time. And maybe she, in the process of saying she started it, was just trying to keep him out of trouble, because sometimes victims try to keep people out of trouble. But that's not how the cops can't look at it that way. They can't say, well, we think this is what could have happened. We think this is what she was thinking. We think this is why she said that. They can't look at it that way. They got to look at it by what you, as an individual, tells them. And Gabby told them she started it. And they let them both go. Now, do I want the Petito family to beat the Laundry family in court? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Do I think the Petito family are going to win the court case to the police department? Yeah, if the police department decides to settle out of court, is the only way they win this case. Because if it goes to trial, they are going to lose. Gabby said she started it. If this actually makes it to trial, and they actually take this police department to trial, and it actually gets that far, they're going to lose this case. They're 1,000% going to lose this case. Because the cops did what they were supposed to do. They actually let both of them go. They should have arrested both of them. If they both had marks on them, they both should have been arrested. Or both of them released, and that's what happened.